This is Kindra Welch, and I'm the owner and lead builder with claySandStraw.com. We're a group of people. We build cob and straw bale houses in Texas Hill Country and New Mexico. And we're just going to do a short video today introducing how electrical interfaces with straw bale. It's one of the most common questions we have from electricians is how should they adjust their bid to deal with straw bale. It's on the outside of the bales. It should have been tucked in, or we could cut a channel right where it's like this is one bale and one bale ends and the next one begins about right here. You can just take the chainsaw and cut a little channel and just stuff it back a little ways so that it's not on the surface. This is an exterior wall, and so probably, you know, nobody's going to try and hang anything in the walls, but at any rate, if anyone does try and hang stuff, you want the wire to be a little deeper so that they don't puncture it with any screws or miscellaneous stuff. So we're going to have to rerun these wires on the outside so that they're in a better position in the bale wall. The way that this bale wall is done, the framing, it's the 2x4 studs in the wall are framed 36 inches on center, and then the bales are just stacked vertically and then pinned on either end with these little plywood spikes that we spike into the bale, and then you screw through the spike, and the spike is, you know, about this far back, and then it pinches part of the flake against this stud, and so it's pretty securely attached on either end, and then you don't have to mess with, you know, all the tying and all that other kind of stuff, and it's a really stable wall. The studs help you keep the bales plumb all the way up, so you don't end up with any, you know, hanging out or pushed in too much. And and then it's also nice because that means that when you're running your wires, you've got these verticals that on the inside that you end up just stuffing with straw afterwards, and then you have the horizontals between the bales, so it's really easy just to kind of follow that grid with your wire, and you don't have to worry about cutting, you know, any of these bale wires. You want to leave all of those intact, because if we were ever to cut one of these, we would have to put it back together while the bale is still in the wall. Not to mention the fact that it can pull your chain off your chainsaw. Alright, you hold that. So we have these stakes that are cut on the chop saw or with a chainsaw, or, you know, however you want to do it, but just basically long spikes, so it comes to a sharp point at the end. And then when we cut an outlet, we cut a hole for an outlet, and then we do a plunge cut with the chainsaw in there like that, and then this, and then hit it with a sledgehammer till it's a surface that you can screw to in the wall. Because once you start driving it in, it goes in and it gets pretty stable. There. But found it all the way back. And the plunge cut is nice because it makes it go straight instead of up or down or however. We're just gonna set a switch box in the wall, and so we sort of pre-fit the box, and knowing that we're gonna add about, in this circumstance, about 1.5 inches of plaster to the bottom. So I was just uncovering the plaster ledge that's on the foundation. So it's good to know how far out the box has to be. So that's about 1.5 inches right there. So we already cut with a chainsaw a little void for the box to sit in, and now we're going to put a stake. And so what I want is for the stake to drive back through the wall in there, and then I want this box to screw to the stake just like that, so the box has a stabilizing point. There's a couple nice things about the electric chainsaws. If you have a decent saw, every time you pull the trigger, it starts. It doesn't produce any sparks or smoke or carbon dioxide, which can be all hazards when working around straw bale. You don't want to bring anything that's going to create spark or flame of any sort close to a straw bale, because the fire hazard at this stage is very high. Once it gets plastered, it's extremely safe, but at this stage you have to be incredibly careful about producing sparks or anything off of gasoline engines. So we tend to keep gasoline engines far away. And electric, it's just, you know, it's quieter. You're just doing a little bit here and there, and so you don't have to have this sort of constant brrrr all the way in your life. So that's why we use electric for this purpose. Alright, so this is from a box on the other side. I'm just gonna... Nice thing about one screw is it still gives you the ability to kind of to rotate the box a little bit, so you can get it nice and plumb. So that's going to go just like that to secure this. So it's still got a little bit, you know, you can pull it out and push it in, because whenever plastering happens, there'll have to be some final adjustment. But the plaster coming up to the sides will lock it in to position super tight, but that just kind of stabilizes it in the wall so it can't go anywhere. There. Just working it back and fails. That. There. So that's pretty nice. So the wire goes in there. A lot of times you can just take your hammer, because it's so soft, and just push it back in just like that. And then this one will just run up one box to the other. Simple straw bale channel, a little bit of drilling through some straw bale armature, and there it is.